Hey guys, it's Anthony Romerell, and in this video we're going to talk about drawing characters, designing them in silhouettes, right? So I'm using Sketchbook Pro just because it's easier for you. I typically use Procreate on an iPad, but it's probably easier to make videos with Sketchbook Pro. So, what I want you guys to do is just think about basic shapes. So, oh, that's blue. We don't want blue. Should check that before, right? It's okay. I can hit undo. So start with a bunch of basic shapes, right? I mean, what's the big deal with making circles or triangles, squares? Especially if we're going to design a character that's kind of like a Jigglypuff kind of character, right? We'll start there, right? So, and then with our shape language, we're just sort of just adding an outline. Like whatever's on the interior doesn't matter so much. I'm just adding more complicated shapes to this based on nothing, right? Based on just goofing off. So I'm just trying to think of interesting silhouettes and how they could read, right? And based on super uber basic shapes, right? So especially if I'm going to make like a stupidly simple character like a Pokemon, right? So just have fun, relax, take your shapes anywhere you want, add these additional shapes to it, and don't worry about it. Just start drawing. Now, a couple things when you're drawing: don't draw like this. Don't do that. Just draw like this. We'll put an X on it. We don't draw like that. We draw nice big gestural strokes. Now I'm using a tablet, right? I'm using a Wacom Cintiq tablet, but you can use anything you want, right? Just drawing with a mouse is hard, so I'm just doing some shape language stuff, okay? And I'm not worried about the interiors. I'm just worried about how does this look like in silhouette. So we could just then take, if you wanted to, do a little bit of shading just to get it a little darker. Whatever. I don't particularly care about that. Like, whatever. I think a silhouette's fine. Just by drawing outlines, right? You could use an eraser if you wanted to go around. I don't care. I'm not going to erase. I think it's better just to not worry about it. So then we could do some like multiple shape things. So what does a character look like if they're, stacked like circles, two circles, and then a connective piece, and then do little stick figure shapes on it, and then add some mass to it. Just kind of like experiment. Again, don't detail the inside. This is a silhouette. So what does it look like with a silhouette? What kind of shapes do we get from that, right? Without shading the inside and not worrying about drawing well. Okay. And, when you're done with that, just select it all, delete it, draw another round. Well, if you're going to turn in homework, like if it's homework, you probably want to do something more than that. So, save the file, right? So, back to it, basic shapes, like start with a series of basic shapes. So if it's a less complicated character, just do standard shapes. If it's a more complicated character, then do something that's multiple shape. Like I got two squares here that looks like an L. Great. Two circles. Again, I already drew this shape, but a circle and a teardrop, or an exclamation point, or this is why emojis got started, because they started to look like something interesting with these shapes. So less complicated shapes, and then add complicated shapes to them. So add a series of things, like maybe little spiky things. Maybe this is a chess piece. Maybe it's a king or a queen, right? We don't know. We don't care. Maybe there's a dress on it. Okay. Add shapes that echo. So we could say, with this circle, we add circular arms and circular legs. And maybe to contrast it, we have a pointy head, right? So now it's more of an arrow. Again, we're thinking more Pokemon style characters, not human, real humans, right? So maybe this is we add a little shape here and a little shape on top, and maybe some interesting shapes along here, and this becomes something different, right? So don't detail the inside, just keep it as a silhouette. Is it right, wrong? Who cares? No one cares. Right? Right now we're just dealing with the process. So maybe fluffy on the top, maybe really long. Maybe the arms are down here. Maybe there's kind of multiple legs, right? This is like the drawing I did before, so this is kind of like a bird sort of thing, right? So I'll do this sort of shaped tail, maybe a big old long beak. So, roundness contrasting sharpness, right? So maybe a little wing here. You see, I'm not detailing the inside. So think about that as you're doing your drawings, and draw lots of them. Draw 10 of them, 20 of them, 30 of them, 100 of them. And I mean, I guess these could be called thumbnails, but really what we're doing is we're just inventing just fun, interesting characters. And you can do other more complex things, but this is kind of Pokemon level.